I
Okay.
sort of had a bit of a genre for quite a while around that age where I played rich old bitches and a lot of rich women.
Hey, Upper East Siders and all you scandal-loving listeners out there. You just tuned into the Non-Judging Breakfast Pod, where the coffee is strong, the waffles are fresh, and the gossip is hotter than ever. My name is Leif, and I'm your seasoned Gossip Girl veteran.
And I'm Steve, the newbie, the greenhorn, I don't know, Leif, what are we calling me today?
I think they would label you as a project. You know, the type of girl who has the potential to be a Blairite.
Well, go ahead and dress me up in an Eleanor Waldorf original and let's get started.
Sounds good.
So here's the deal, folks. Leif has been watching Gossip Girl since the beginning, and I'm diving in for the first time. And together, we're your dynamic duo, bringing you all the drama, romance, and sometimes questionable fashion choices of this iconic 2007 series.
Bring your magnifying glasses because each week we'll be dissecting every juicy detail of the show, one episode at a time. We'll connect the dots, uncover those sneaky little Easter eggs, and of course, serve up some piping hot behind-the-scenes tea. And expect some iconic moments from Phantom, too, because what's a deep dive without a little drama?
And since we are all about inclusivity here at the Non-Judging Breakfast Pod, there is always a seat for you at the Non-Judging Breakfast table. So go ahead and grab your mimosa or your cup of coffee, or go ahead and roll up some of Chuck's special medicine and let's get started.
Steve, we are here for a special episode today.
Yes, I am very excited and super bummed that I had to miss it.
Yes. So right off the top, had in at the Non-Judging Breakfast table, Norman Buckley.
Norman Buckley, yes.
Director of The OC, Gossip Girl, Pretty Little Liars, and most recently Sweet Magnolias, and he's done over 140 episodes of television.
Yes, yeah.
And we also had Caroline Lagerfelt, who plays Cece.
Yeah, who just happened to be having dinner with Norman Buckley.
Yes, and that's kind of why you had to miss it, because so originally I reached out in like early July, and he said he's interested in doing the podcast, but he was finishing up filming season 5 of Sweet Magnolias. Yeah. And, so I was told about, okay, I'll reach out, beginning of September. And so I did. He's like, well, I could do Monday. And then I asked you, and you're like, oh, I'm going to be away. Then like kind of in between that, he was like, oh, I'm also having dinner with Caroline Lagerfelt that night, and I can bring her along. I was like, sorry, Steve.
Yeah. And as you know, I immediately was like, absolutely do this. And I'm bummed that I wasn't able to call in. Robin and I were camping. Mm-hmm. So but I did get to listen to most of it. I have not heard this entire interview because apparently there is a spoiler in it that you had said.
Yeah, it was like 30 seconds cut out in the middle.
Yeah. So I didn't even notice when I did my watch through. And yeah, it was a lot of fun to see you talk to them, get to ask them some cool questions, and hear their takes on the people of Gossip Girl.
And so in addition to playing Cece, Caroline has also, done a million things on television and movies, a lot of genre stuff like X-Files, Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah.
She was also in the movie Minority Report, but then she's also done a lot of work on and off Broadway.
Yes, yeah, which is also impressive in its own right. Those double threat actors that can do Broadway, that can do live theater and do film, they're two different beasts.
Yeah.
So it's impressive to be able to make that switch.
And most recently, she is recurring. I don't know. She's considered main cast, but she's on Sweet Magnolias. She's Joanna Garcia's mother.
Yes.
Yeah. Also was on Gossip Girl.
Yeah. Who is Joanna Garcia on Gossip Girl?
She played Bree Buckley.
Oh, right. Okay. Yes.
And is now married to Nick Swisher.
Yeah.
But so this start of the interview is a little bit awkward. So as people who know me know, I'm a perpetually early person. So we had the meeting scheduled for 6:30. I showed up at 6:22, and Norma was already there. So I was a little embarrassed by that. And then he's like, okay, so Caroline's going to be here in about 3 minutes. I was like, so at first I was like, okay, let's just hold off, and I'm trying to chit chat and like, just stall for time. And then he just starts going into stuff. Like he starts telling stories. I was like, better start recording this. And then about like 8 minutes in, Caroline jumps in, but she's on an iPhone and she dropped it a couple times. And so it was cutting out. So it was a little bit of a mess to sync up, but I think at the end I got it working pretty well. So here it is coming at you right now. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So you have done quite a bit of TV directing, and you started off with the OC, I believe. That was your first job.
Yes. Well, it's the first job I directed.
First directing job, yes.
Yeah, I was an editor for many years before I started directing. And when I was asked to do the OC, I said that I would be happy to do it if I could direct one of the episodes. And Josh and Stephanie were very supportive of that idea. And I owe my directing career to them, which has then been very successful. So I'm grateful to them, and I always credit them with supporting me in that vision.
Yeah, so you have worked with Fake Empire quite a bit. Do you find that it's different working with them compared to other showrunners because you have more of a relationship? Do they give you more creative freedom?
I've had a great relationship with many different showrunners. I do believe that my relationship with Josh and Stephanie was very special because it was right at the beginning of Josh's career, and I edited the pilot of the OC with them, and we grew to be very close. Stephanie, I still see every time I go to LA, and I haven't seen Josh in a while, but I consider him to be a close friend, and they were extremely supportive to me during a period of time in my life when I was really trying to make a huge career leap, and I was able to make it because of them. And I started on the OC, and then I went to their two other shows, Chuck and Gossip Girl, and so I very quickly got a number of directing credits, and then moved into various other branches of the teen genre, and then from there started moving into procedurals. And I've had a very successful career. At this point, I've directed over 140 episodes of television, and that all stems back to 20 years ago, like working on the OC. So I owe them a lot, and I consider both of them very close friends. But in terms of, do I have a shorthand with them? Yes, I have a shorthand with them based on the fact that I was an editor for them first, and really learned what they liked and learned how to direct the shows in such a way that I knew they'd be happy with it. So I think I directed 6 episodes of the OC, and probably, I probably edited 30 some odd over the course of the series. And then I directed 12 episodes of Gossip Girl, I think, and I think that's right.
Double checking. Yes, 12 episodes.
Yeah. So did a number of episodes of Chuck. I did episodes of the Carrie Diaries. I did episodes of Dynasty and Heart of Dixie. So yeah, I've worked with them quite a bit over the years.
Well, taking a step back, what got you into film originally?
Well, I was always fascinated with film as a child. I always was interested in film, and when I was in college, I was majoring in history at the University of Texas at Arlington, and I was very lacking in a certain focus and direction. And my mother said, well, if you could do anything you wanted to do, what would you do? And I said, well, I'd go to film school. I'd work in film. And she said, well, you should go to film school then. And so she was really my great encourager. And my sister is an actress. My sister has been an actress from the time I was in junior high school. And so she, when I got out of film school, she was working on a film that was shot near my hometown in Texas, and heard that the editor was looking for an assistant. So she told him that I just gotten out of film school and I could do the job. And that guy took me to New York with him, and my career grew out of that. So I'm very grateful to my sister. I'm very grateful to my mother, who just recently passed at
Yeah, so that's sorry
99.
for your loss.
Yeah, it's tough, but she had a good long life, and there wasn't much left on the table in terms of
Yeah.
she did experience it. She was very vital and alive and with it right up until the very end. I know I got my mom a lot longer than most people get their moms, so I'm very grateful. And
Just it's the best we could all hope for. I
have nothing but gratitude for her. She was a wonderful, wonderful lady, but I would say that she was one of the things that really inspired me. And I worked in editorial on various feature films. I was an editor on many feature films. And then about the year 2000, I started editing pilots in television. And I directed, and I didn't direct, I edited. Let me take that back. I edited many pilots for Warner Brothers. And so I had a lot of standing with the powers that be at Warner Brothers. And when I met Stephanie Savage, I met her on a show called Fast Lane, and I expressed to her that I was really interested in directing. And she said she would try to help make that happen. And she was the one that introduced me to Josh Schwartz. And the rest is history, as they say. And there's Carolyn. Hey.
Welcome.
I'm on an
doing?
iPhone, so I'm holding it sort of at arm's length. I'm not quite sure how to do this. My computer's not working.
That's fine. Just thank you so much for joining us.
All right, so here we are. I'm happy to see you guys.
Yes, happy to see you.
Then we lost you.
Oh,
there she is.
I'm not going to touch it.
Okay. All right. Welcome to the show. This is the Non-Judging Breakfast Pod. And we are recapping Gossip Girl. We're currently started season 4. And of course, you played Cece.
That's right.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And so we were just talking about Norman's origin story. I don't know if you have anything else you want to add on to that.
Well, I think I covered it pretty much. I do want to say, Carolyn and I never worked together on Gossip Girl.
Never.
We never were in this. I didn't direct any of the episodes that she was in, but we became friends through Kelly Rutherford.
Okay.
When we started becoming dinner companions. And then the show that I'm currently on now, Sweet Magnolias, we were looking for an actress to play the part of Paula. And I said, I know this actress that was on Gossip Girl, and I think she'd be really right for it. And so now we've done, I just finished my 21st episode of directing Sweet Magnolias. And so we've worked for 6 years together on Sweet Magnolias. So we share this history on Gossip Girl, but we never worked together on Gossip Girl.
We never did. I mean, you were around as a producer, were you not?
No, I wasn't a producer on Gossip Girl, but I did a lot of episodes, so I was there a lot. But we just never landed on the same episodes.
I know. And then there was that time, maybe 6 or 7 years ago, when you were in Oregon or Washington State doing PLS.
Portland. I was doing the Pretty Little Liars spinoff in Portland, and Kelly Rutherford was one of the stars of that. And Carolyn came to visit Kelly, and we got to be friends.
I took the train up there from LA.
So,
wow.
Yeah, that was an epic journey. It was like 36 hours, and but it was wonderful.
Trains can be fun, though.
3 of us went out and had dinner together. And actually, I'm going to be seeing Kelly when we wrap here on Saturday. I'm going to New York, and she's going to be there, so I'm going to see her.
Oh, wow.
I'm really excited.
So, when I was doing prep for this, I was kind of shocked to see that you were only in 10 episodes of Gossip Girl. You had such a big presence on the show.
It's sort of surprising to me because I was actually in very few episodes.
Yeah.
How many did you say? Was it 7 altogether?
10.
Oh, I was in 10. Okay, that's even more than I thought.
But out of 121.
Well, that's true. That's not that many. I know, and it's extraordinary because to this day, I think Gossip Girl is just going to live on forever. It's become kind of a cult show. And I think so when we did it, 15, 18 years ago, a lot of the little girls, the young ones, the 8, 9-year-olds weren't allowed to watch it, of course, because it was too racy. And now they've all rediscovered it through all these different platforms that it's been showing on. So I'm always surprised. I had somebody come up to me on a subway station in Stockholm in May, some young girl, just so excited. And she said, you look just like my favorite actress on Gossip Girl. And she pulled up a picture of me. And I was like, it's me. I'm her. So it's really nice, though, that I'm just so glad that it keeps living and living and living. Yeah. You know, I think it's wonderful.
It was a really happy time in my life, too. I look back on that period of time with a lot of affection. I think people have asked me, what's your favorite show? And I said, well, I don't have a favorite show. My favorite is whatever I'm working on. But when I really think back on my life, that period, those years that I worked on Gossip Girl were extraordinarily happy because I was in New York for several months every year. I got to be very close with some of the cast, and I just found it to be a joy. There was never an episode that I felt like, oh boy, this is a drudge. It was a really joyful experience for me. I have nothing bad to say about that period of time at all. I hear these stories about Gossip Girl, how there were problems on the set or this or that. And I'm like, no, that's just not true. It's just, there's absolutely no truth to any of that. It was just a delightful experience, and everyone was delightful, and I had a great time.
Good.
Yeah, I did too. I remember when they, my agent called me. I think I was in LA at the time. In fact, I know I was. And he said, look, the producers want to meet with you for this one part. And I said, well, they're not going to fly me in. He goes, no, you're going to have to fly in yourself. Mm-hmm. And I said, spend that money to fly in. And, how many other people are they looking? And this is why I love Mike Ken. I've been with him for like 30 years. He was like, if you fly in, you'll get it. Which doesn't always happen. But I flew in and I booked it. And it meant so much to me. It was so exciting. I made such good friends with the cast, even though I was sort of, as you said, in 10 episodes and just popped in and out. I love the designer, the clothes. I mean, there was a whole feeling about it that was just completely new and different. And also, I think it was, the first time that everything was online. I remember Kelly and I doing a live, what the hell was it called back in the day? Twitter group or something. So we were watching it with the fans.
Live tweeting.
Thank you. Yeah, Kelly and I was sitting together and we'd live tweet and they'd ask us about our clothes or about this, that, or the other. And we'd be doing these little live tweets, and it was very new and very exciting at that time. Great for TikTok, Instagram, streaming, all the things the young kids on this show do,
And that actually leads me to one of my questions. So the family resemblances on the show, with the casting was really great, and like especially with you, Kelly, and Blake, it looked like you could be family.
There's a classic picture of us that was taken, and this was before Instagram and everything. I have it. I might repost it. There's a classic picture of the three of us, and I think just somebody took it on one of their cameras. And you're absolutely right; it was amazing. Of course, I'm thrilled that people thought I looked like Blake and Kelly. I'm not going to deny that. Great family resemblance. I think they upped it a little bit, bettered it. But it was amazing. It was a very believable family.
So the question is did they come reach out to you, or was it an open casting?
No, I don't know. I think maybe my agent had submitted me for it. I sort of had a bit of a genre for quite a while around that age where I played rich old bitches and a lot of rich women. And I think he might have submitted me and then they called me in. But when I flew in, it was sort of, they really wanted to see me for it. So I was absolutely overjoyed when I booked it. And not a cliched rich old lady. This was a fun one to play.
Yes. She had a presence.
Yes, ma'am. Sir.
This question's for Norman. So you made your debut with the 106, The Handmaid's Tale, which Newsweek did rank as one of the best episodes of 2007 of all television. And was that your favorite episode, or did you have a different one?
Well, it definitely is one of my favorite episodes. It was the first one I did, which was show was just breaking at that time. It was just coming on the air, like 6 episodes in. The show was just starting to air, and so there was an enormous excitement around it. And it was a beautiful episode to direct. It had this big masquerade ball, and I had all these ideas for it that they really embraced, and I had a great time on that. It was written by Jessica Queller, who also wrote another episode that I did on the series, which I would say is my favorite, which was, I think it was episode 218, I think it was. Was
it the one to play with the Age of Innocence?
Yes.
Yes, that is a great episode.
Yes. That I think is my favorite for many reasons. But my 2 favorite episodes I know were written by Jessica Queller, and those were the 2. They just, her sensibility and mine jived very, very much. And I liked, it was the Age of Dissonance is what it was called.
Age of Dissonance. Yes.
Age of Dissonance. And the play of the Age of Innocence that they were performing in that episode was a lot of fun.
Wow.
And one of my favorite stories about it is we were running very far behind. The scene that was in the play was this carriage ride with Penn and Leighton. And then they were supposed to come off stage after being in this scene and have an argument. And we were running so far behind that I said to Stephanie, I said, what if they argued while they were on stage? What if while they're in the scene, they just are whispering back and forth to each other and the argument happens as they're performing? And she embraced that idea and said, yeah, can you go over it with the actors? And so I went to both Penn and Leighton, and I said, okay, let's move this line here and put this line here. And so it was kind of a very spontaneous, not improv, but almost like improv in the sense of trying to construct this scene. And it ended up being a much better scene than it would have been had they been.
It's a great scene. Yes, it's a very, very memorable scene.
But also what got us back on schedule, which on a TV show is a very important thing. It's a very important thing to stay on schedule. And so that episode just has a lot of, I feel a lot of nostalgia for it. I feel a lot of happy memories. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
That scene, and also when they kind of go off script in the play, that scene is really good too. Where
the end of the act, where they all start to get mad at each other. Yes, it was a lot of fun. There were so many things in that I enjoyed, and I felt like the editor on that episode had been one of my assistants on the OC. He edited that episode, and I thought he did a beautiful job of editing it. So it had a whole feel about it that was just very, very unique, and I have a lot of happy memories about it.
Great.
That would probably be my favorite.
Yeah. Kyle, do you have a favorite episode?
Well, I mostly sort of think in terms of when I was with a lot of the cast, because very often my scenes were sort of quite small. They were with Kelly and with Blake, and I would miss sometimes seeing the whole cast. I remember when we shot the White Party out of this absolutely stunning mansion out in Long Island, and I'm still friends with the owners of that beautiful house.
Oh, nice.
And that was amazing. I mean, it was glorious summer, this beautiful house and gardens, all of us dressed in white. And it was truly, to me, that's always ingrained in my memories, one of the happiest shows that I ever shot anyway. It was absolutely beautiful.
I believe that was the season 2 premiere.
Correct. That's exactly what it was. Yes. And I was, the only show I was a wee bit disappointed in was my death scene.
Yeah, it was a little weird, awkward. That scene.
It was like, they're very nice. They told me they were going to kill me off, which is always nice to know ahead of time, And but I thought it was sort of a blah scene, and I wrote to them because I had I wanted to sort of be asking for a martini as I was dying. I just thought that would have kept the spirit of Cece alive, and bring me a martini. And nope, they kiboshed it, and it was all rather. It just sort of felt like a rushed episode. But apart from that, it was great. I mean, death scene never hurts.
Yeah.
I want to go back for a moment to my favorite episode because one of the guests on that episode was also the theater critic Charles Isherwood.
Okay, yes,
who was writing
a
for New York
cameo
Times at the time, and it was so funny because he had only a few lines, but he could not remember them, and he just completely went up. Completely forgot everything he was supposed to say. He wrote a story about it later in the New York Times. Let me see if I can find this
I'd love to read that. You have to send it to me.
Oh, I will. I'll send it to you, and I'll send it to you too, Leif. I loved it because he said, "It's not that I couldn't infuse the line with enough emotive substance to please a Stanislavski. No, I'm afraid the words I had been relentlessly drilling for the past 24 hours to the cat, to the refrigerator, to empty elevators, and to the brisk air of Madison Square Park wouldn't come at all. The next few minutes have been erased from my memory, presumably by an instinctive reaction akin to that which makes victims of trauma unable to recall the event itself. But I would not be surprised to be told that instead of the dialogue from the script, I began spouting assorted lyrics from West Side Story, vestigial bits of 7th grade book report, directions from the back of a shampoo bottle, or a recipe for ginger snaps. I'm pretty confident that at no point did the 24 words of that fatal sentence emerge in the proper order. Like most of life's ordeals, junior high, oral surgery, recessions, the occasional American presidency, my stint in the television spotlight eventually came to an end. I was even given a friendly send-off in the form of warm applause by the cast and crew, perhaps because they were relieved to get back to work with professionals. It was so funny because he could not remember anything, and he got so nervous and started to sweat. And Blake was so sweet. She took his hand and just held his hand, and I just basically fed the lines to him. I said, "Okay, now say this line. Now say this line. Now say this line." It was so funny. I'll send you both the.
I'd love to read
I'd like to see
the story that he wrote because it really was delightful. But that's another reason that episode really sticks in my mind because that was such a funny event.
Yeah, there's a lot of jokes within the fandom about even if you don't recognize the cameos from Gossip Girl, you can always tell it's a cameo.
Yeah. Because they're not actors. Is that what you mean
exactly?
By that? Yeah. I had some good cameos. I had. Oh, who did I have? Oh God, what is her name? I'm thinking of the designer, and I'm blanking totally on her name right now.
She.
The designer. Which episode?
The designer who did the wrap dresses.
Diane von Furstenberg.
Yes, Diane von Furstenberg. That's she was in one of my episodes, and
I think we just actually did that episode.
She was delightful. She was wonderful to work with, and I'm trying to think who else I had that were big cameos. Oh well, it's been a while.
We had great actors on that show. Sebastian Stan.
Yeah, Sebastian Stan was great, and
wonderful. And what's that wonderful guy who played? Was it Leighton's father? That fantastic New York actor, the shorter.
John Shea played Leighton's father.
Yeah. Yes.
Margaret Collin played her mother.
Right.
Yes.
And here's a funny story. I was to direct an episode with Margaret Collin. She was supposed to be in my episode, and then for some reason she couldn't do it. She had some type of conflict. And so Dorota, up until that point, had only been a character who would do a line here and there. She'd been in a couple of my episodes, but she never had a big part. But there was this one episode, I can't remember which one it is, but Margaret wasn't available to play Leighton's mother. And so I was in a conversation with one of the writers, and he said, "Well, I think we'll just give those lines to Dorota." And I said, "Well, if you're going to do that, then let's make it like she's been with the family for many years and that she's basically like a second mother to her by virtue of I said, because these a lot of these women who work in these roles in these wealthy families, they're with the family for years and years and are like a part of the family. And so that happened in my episode. And Susanna, who played Dorota, was always very grateful to me.
Another fan favorite.
Because she felt like that I really helped facilitate the nature of her part kind of expanding. I don't think that's entirely true. I think that the writers were already moving in that direction, but I definitely remember having the conversation with the writer of that episode and saying like, well, you gotta give it more of a feeling like she's been there for it can't just be information. It's got to feel like it's a character. It's got to feel like it's a character that has been with the family for many, many years. And so I was delighted to see Dorota's part just expand exponentially over the run of the show.
Well, it was wonderful because she became, like a huge fan favorite, and we all looked forward to her character appearing on screen. She had wonderful, pithy things to say. She had a combination of love and impatience, which was just absolutely delightful.
And she's a delightful actress to work with as well.
She's one of the other ones I keep in touch with because she and I both theater.
Me too. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And
she's one of the ones I stay in touch with. I stay in touch with a good part of the cast, but definitely some more than others. Some I'm deeply close to, and then others I have casual acquaintances with. But I stay in touch with a good part of the cast.
Any fun stories from the set from either of you?
Well, I directed the first season finale, which was
Much Ado About Nothing.
Yeah, which was Kelly's. I can't even remember Kelly's character's name. What was
Lily?
Lily. Lily's marriage to Bart Bass.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I was directing the wedding of Lily to Bart Bass, and the wedding reception was to be on this one day with the entire cast. For some reason, I never do this, but for some reason, I called everybody into the ballroom, and I said, I just want to talk everybody through the day so that you understand what we're shooting, how we're shooting, why we're shooting. So nobody asked me, when do I get to go home? I'm just gonna like tell you what the whole day is gonna be, put everybody in their place, talk through all the camera placements of the entire day. And then we started shooting. And then at lunch, I was in a hurry to get to lunch because I had stopped to have a conversation with the assistant director about some things. And I was running, and I tripped on a marble staircase, and I went straight forward and completely shattered my nose. And so the nose I now have is not the nose I was born with because I completely shattered it. So they had to take me to the ER to sew it up. But because of the fact that I'd gone over the entire day beforehand, they just carried on shooting. Joe Lazaroff, the producer on set, he stepped up and directed the rest of the that day's shooting. And I came back with my nose sewed up, thinking that I could carry on with the day. But then they had put me on a really heavy antibiotic, and I fainted, and so I had to go home. And then they sent me for a CAT scan the next day, and everything was fine. So I continued on with the episode on Vicodin because I was in so much pain, but I had my nose sewn up enough so that I could complete the episode. And then I stayed in New York for 2 weeks, 2 additional weeks, while they basically gave me a nose job because I couldn't fly home because my nose was so...
You really smashed it.
There, I really did.
Like a war story.
It is a war story.
That is my best story for you.
Well, thank you for sacrificing your body so we can watch the show.
For a good story. I'll tell you one we're talking about. I was thinking when you guys were talking about favorite shows. I'll tell you one of my favorite shows to watch because there's a snippet of it that I think I posted probably out of the last 10 Thanksgivings. I posted about every other year, and I'll probably post it this year, is the Thanksgiving scene.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, I posted, other people posted, it's all over Instagram around Thanksgiving, and everybody still gets such a kick out of that episode. And, as the table just gets less and less people, and more people get upset and just get up and storm off, But that was, I always enjoy watching that.
The timing and the beats and everything on that scene was great. It's like everything was it worked so well.
Yeah, it was really, really, it was a lot of fun. And again, it was one of those shows where everybody was on set, all the kids and everything. So it was always enjoyable to shoot that, You got to catch up with everybody.
Was it a lot of takes, or did you like break up when you were shooting it?
I think it was pretty much broken up. I don't remember it taking it, I can't remember who directed that episode. Do you remember, Norman?
No, I don't remember.
But it was cut together, it was edited together so well, I thought. And of course, Matthew, who marches to his own drummer always.
Definitely.
Was telling his long, funny story. Oh God, no, that.
Do you still stay in touch with him? I know you guys were close.
I did actually. I saw him very, very recently. He's friends with a Swedish friend of mine, and I just suddenly got a message that he was going to, because I go to the Swedish church in New York on Madison, and 48th Street and Fifth Avenue there, and I suddenly got a message from this Swedish friend of mine. Oh, I'm bringing Matt to church this Sunday. And I said, well, you do know that the service is all in Swedish. I don't think he speaks it, but he was fine. He came there, sat there. It was so nice to see him. And then, of course, as always in Swedish church, afterwards there's coffee and cinnamon buns and cardamom buns and cake and cookies. I mean, classic, as important almost as going.
No, by the way, Carolyn, I had a piece of that cake that you had on the set today.
Oh, I was so upset because I thought you weren't going to be there.
No, I had a piece.
It's fun.
Carolyn bought a cake for the crew.
Yeah,
today,
it's called Princess Cake, and it's a very sweet, famous cake. She lives an hour outside Atlanta, so I drove there in the morning to pick it up, and I drove back and dropped it off. I wanted to have something Swedish for the cast and crew to sort of show my appreciation.
We're wrapping up our 5th season here in Atlanta, so there's just a few more days of this season, and so
5th season, but 6th year. That's what I always have to remind myself.
Crazy, isn't it? Yeah.
6 years ago, you called me when I was in Sweden.
Yes.
The director of the Thanksgiving episode was Mark Pisnarski.
Who was it?
Mark Pisnarski.
Who directed the pilot.
Yeah, he's the pilot,
right.
The pilot king.
Yeah.
Right.
He does a lot of
it's
pilots.
so nice. You guys have your computers. You can look up all the stuff that we can't remember. That's wonderful.
Well, anything else you guys want to add on Gossip Girl before we move over to Sweet Magnolias?
No.
I think I covered my part.
Episode, so I leave that up to Norman. It's more.
Unless you have some specific questions about it, I'll say this for the record: I love Blake Lively. I think she's a wonderful person. I think that I don't really like it when anybody says anything bad about her.
Good.
Because I think she is delightful, and I feel that way about every person in the cast. I think everybody in this cast was just a dream to work with. And
lovely. I couldn't have asked for a better.
Yeah, we try and stay away from that ugliness that's been going on.
Just telling you, all I'm saying is, I think she's just a wonderful person, and I
that's nice to hear.
Her, and I love everybody in the cast. I love everybody in this cast. This was a really fun show to work on because there was nobody that I didn't like. And that's a good segue to Sweet Magnolias because that's another show. There is nobody that I don't enjoy working with. It's a delightful show to work on from top to bottom.
Well, I think, you're talking about two major shows that both went for years. And I think one of the reasons that you keep saying, I loved everybody, I got along with everybody, there's nobody I don't like working with, is because you are such an amazing person to work for and with. And you make us feel like we're partners almost. And you're the kindest man I've ever met in my life.
Well, you're sweet to say.
And you don't waste time. And we have a lot of wonderful directors on the show. We have young directors, we have new directors, we've had some older directors. But every time I see an episode that says Norman directing, I'm like, that's going to go fine. Just never worry about a thing.
So on this show, I believe, Norman, you do have more of a creative side on this. You are an executive producer.
I'm a co-executive producer. I've been with it since the beginning. I directed it wasn't really a pilot because we did 10 episodes all at once. And so we had a 10 episode order. But I directed the first one, and I directed 6 in the first season. I directed 4 in the subsequent 3 seasons, and then I've directed 3 episodes this season. So a total of 21. And I've been very involved in the design of it, the visual design of it, and work with a showrunner named Cheryl Anderson, and Matt Drake and Dan Paulson are the executive producers. And it's a lovely show to work on. I've really, really enjoyed the collaboration with everyone, and the cast is just stellar. I actually worked with Joanna Garcia Swisher. I'd worked with her on a show that actually Josh and Stephanie had recommended me for, called Privileged.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, many years ago. I did 1 episode of that. And then Joe actually did several episodes of Gossip Girl as well.
Did you direct any of her episodes?
I did. I directed one of her episodes. I can't remember which one. I directed one of her episodes, and she and I had remained friends. And then I knew that this part would be right for her. And she's a wonderful person, as is Brooke Elliott and Heather Headley, the other stars of the show. And then also Jamie Lynn Spears, who's a delight. Everybody on the show is wonderful. I don't have anything bad to report about any of my collaborators. It's been a real joy. And I do think that it's hard to believe that it's been 6 years, and it's different because I think one of your questions that you said you wanted to ask is, how is it different working on a long show versus a short order?
Yeah.
It is different because we're in and out really quickly. Whereas,
as opposed to the old style, everything is written before you even start shooting, typically now.
That's correct.
Whereas in the old network days, you would you only like 2 or 3 episodes.
Yeah, you were chasing your tail. And that's something interesting, because I do feel like that, particularly as you get into those later episodes of a 22 episode order, they're writing really fast. And so sometimes there's episodes that are my less favored episodes of any given show based upon, how quickly it was written. Mm-hmm. But we're about to complete 50 episodes of Sweet Magnolias. It's hard to believe, isn't it, Carolyn? Like,
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Gone so quickly.
I know.
So, Carol, you play Paula. What can you say? She was once again a grandmother/mother character.
Right.
But can you say what are the similarities and the differences between her and Cece?
Well, I think the similarities are that they are both in their own rights strong women. I think that Paula is more of a free spirit. I sort of imagine her as having traveled around Europe a lot when she was younger and painting, and that's why I wear all these little rings on the show and everything. More of a free spirit. Definitely not such a cutting wit as maybe Cece had at all. Or loving. I mean, my kids, who are so used to me playing rather evil women, both on camera and on stage, were incredibly impressed. And they were like, "Mom, you are so good in this. Look how nice you are." Unfortunately, they recognized me more with my sharp tongue and my wit than they did as this warm, cuddly mother. But they still love me, and they love the show too. So, I don't see any. I think the similarities are, as with all mothers, you fight for what you think your kids should do right. And Cece had her own way, which was very sort of dictatorial and didactic. And, this mother is a little smoother, a little gentler. And she also has, I think, a very smart daughter. Joanna plays a very warm, intelligent woman. So it's not somebody that you have to say, "Hey, don't do that." Somebody that you can more talk things through with. And I love my scenes with Jo. I usually get at least one scene with her where we talk more intimately about maybe her relationship or her father, that was my husband. And I long for those scenes. We had a little porch scene this season, which made me so happy. Directed by Brooke Elliott.
Yes.
And I thought she did a wonderful job as a director, I must say.
It's a beautiful scene.
Yeah. And she was so happy with it. And so I always look forward to like having one scene with Joe where I can, just the two of us talking mother and daughter. I don't have a daughter. I have two sons, wild sons. Well, one's very wild. And so it's fun sort of living through. And now I have a granddaughter. So I am actually finally a grandmother, which I love. And so I would say they both fight for their children in the way that they have been brought up to do. One a little nicer than the other.
Anything else you guys, either of you want to add? That's all the prepared questions I had.
Well, it's nice of you to want to talk to us. And I think that, we're delighted to kind of revisit some of our past work. I think I can speak for Carolyn saying that. It just so happened, like Carolyn and I are having dinner tonight. And I said, hey, I said I'd do this podcast. You want to do it with me? And it just worked out. So I'm happy it all worked out. And we just.
Well, I thank you both for joining me. It's a great pleasure to have you on. And is there anything either of you want to plug or recommend?
Well, I have been doing a show. I did a show earlier this spring called The Chicken Sisters, which is for Hallmark. And I have to say, I just watched my two episodes were on like it's a couple of weeks ago now, but they were on one week after another. And I was pretty delighted with how they turned out. I was like, this is a really fun show. It's another show about women in the South. It's funny, because I remember one time I was on a panel where one of the panelists was saying, well, I think women should be directing shows about women. And I said, well, if that's the case, then I'm out of work, because I said that tends to be most of the shows that I work on are shows that are based around women. And but yeah, I just did this show called The Chicken Sisters. And
where can people watch that?
That's on Hallmark.
Okay.
And then I am about to go up to Canada to work on a new show for Netflix that is in the teen genre. So it's kind of returning to my teen genre roots. And so when I know a little bit more about what the release plans are for that, it will be on Netflix. But when I know a little bit more about that, and I hesitate to talk too much about it.
I want to get you in trouble, but we will keep our eyes out for it.
Yeah, but it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. The pilot script was really wonderful, and I'll be doing the third episode of their first season, so that'll be fun. So that's kind of what I have to plug at the moment. Carolyn and I are going to find something to do together. We're going to
I know. I've told him I have to be his reserve grandmother. I just give back.
We're going to find something. We're going to find a feature or
maybe like a CEO or something. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to New York to do a movie for a month, and then I'll be waiting for a call from Vancouver.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for asking us.
Thank you so much for letting me join you. I really enjoyed this.
Yes.
And I'm going to go watch the whole of Gossip Girl again.
Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Yep. Bye-bye. We are back, and thank you for listening.
That was quick.
Yes. Once again, thank you very much to Norman Buckley and Carolyn Lagerfelt for joining the podcast.
And taking the time out of your night to just sit and hang out and talk to us. Thank you so much. We cannot tell you how much we appreciate it.
And we really hope one or both of you will come back to recap an episode at some point.
Yes, we would love that. It would be a lot of fun. And I will make sure to be there.
Well, that is it for the episode. So if you would like to follow us on social media, you can find us on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads at Non-Judging Breakfast Pod. And you can find links to our subreddit, our Discord server, and our Patreon on our website, nonjudgingbreakfastpod.com.
And if you'd like to get in touch with us, we would love to hear what you have to say and maybe even read what you have to say here on the podcast. You can get in touch with us by sending us an email at nonjudgingbreakfastpod@gmail.com. You can also go ahead and hit that like, follow, or subscribe button. And while you're at it, leave a comment on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, because that really helps boost our visibility. And why don't you go ahead and tell your friends what you're listening to? Give them these great insights from Norman Buckley and from Caroline. And please tell your friends what you're listening to. Make us the water cooler talk at your work this week.
And we'll be back next week, this time for real, to talk about Season 4, Episode 3, The Undergraduates. Until next time, you know you love us.
XOXO.
Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Oh, it seems I'm walking right to your door. My heart's still resting, looking for something more. Are you ever gonna see everything you mean to me? I'm trying really hard to believe. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Never feels right when I'm out here on my own. I left last night and it feels like way too long. Are you ever gonna see everything you mean to me? I'm trying really hard to believe. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Come back to me. Smile and you'll make my life complete. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there.
I'm just going to start recording just because you are actually dropping some good stuff here. I'm sure people would be interested in hearing that kind of thing.
Okay, well, do you want to do your intro first, or how do you want to do it?
Yeah, so I'll read my little intro here. So, hey, Upper East Siders and all you scandal-loving listeners out there, you've just tuned into the Non-Judging Breakfast Pod, where the coffee is strong, the waffles are fresh, and the gossip is hotter than ever. My name is Leif, and I'm your seasoned Gossip Girl veteran. And normally this is where Steve would come in, but he was not able to make it today.